Yo, what's going on YouTube? Jojo back with another video. And today I kind of had a crazy idea. I didn't necessarily know how well it would do, but I thought it was a cool concept. I play a little bit of Madden. One big thing with Madden is theme teams because of the boost that it gives you. Now, in MLB The Show, you don't get a boost for using a theme team, but I remembered how much fun I had using a Panthers theme team, even though it wasn't the best theme team, it was my favorite team. So getting to use players from my favorite team altogether, whether I won or lost, it really didn't matter. I was actually having way more fun doing it like that because those were my guys. So I thought of this concept of what are the top five theme teams in MLB The Show 21. I thought it'd be kind of cool to bring it to you. Maybe you'll see your favorite team on here. If you don't hear your favorite team, I'm sorry about it. This is just my opinion. It's not necessarily facts. It's all opinion based. But I looked through a spreadsheet. I found the different theme teams. I went through it and I judged it based off who had the best rotation, bullpen, as well as offense, with offense kind of being the lesser of the three. Because I feel like you can find enough offense in a game, but it's hard when you're trying to pitch with silvers and golds or low diamonds. So I try to find the teams that had the best overall starting pitchers as well as good pitchers, the best bullpen. That way, if you have a lead, you're not blowing the lead because you have a 67 overall in your bullpen, which obviously none of these teams do, but something like that. And what made me think of the idea was as you're looking on the screen, unfortunately, my Braves didn't really make my top five. They were very close. They were an honorable mention for me, along with one other team. What carries this team is the offense, especially once we get 97 Pablo Sandoval, who can move over here to first base, which will be another switch hitter in the lineup. But as you can see, the lineup is dirty. We have the Hank Aaron, the new 99 Ronald Acuna, World Series reward David Justice, Troy Gloss. We have Chipper Jones, Ozzy Albies, who is one of my favorite cards in this game currently. Joe Torre at catcher. The bench is really, really good. The starting pitching is really, really good. John Smoltz wouldn't be here. We would go with Mike Hampton or Dallas Keuchel. Where this Braves team faltered at was the bullpen. So this is all the bullpen arms currently for the Braves. So as you can see, we have two golds and a silver. These two don't count. I just need a filler spots. I do plan on using this team in ranked. I plan on having fun. I was just thinking to myself, how can I have more fun on this game in ranked without putting too much pressure on myself to where I'm just consistently getting upset or mad? Why not play with my favorite players of all time and play with my favorite team? So that's what made me think of the idea. The first team is the Braves, but they are an honorable mention. If the Braves are in your top five, let me know down in the comment section. Okay, so I don't have the actual team because I don't have all these players. I have most of them, but what I do have is the spreadsheet right here. And what we're going to do is go through my five teams from here. But first, I do want to show you my honorable mention team. So as you see, the teams are down here at the bottom in the spreadsheet. This is very neat. Shout out to whoever did this. I found this on Reddit. I will link it down below so that you can use it as well. My honorable mention was the Phillies. They have the Fergie Jenkins, Cliff Lee, Roy Oswalt, Pedro Martinez, and Zach Wheeler, plus Charlie Morton, who's a really, really underrated card in this game. So honestly, one of the better rotations that you can make as a theme team, where they kind of fell at was just like the Braves, was the bullpen. So they had Zach Plesac or Dan Plesac, Billy Wagner, the Robertson, Diekman, who's still usable because he has 125 hit per nine, Ken Giles, and Bradley. At catcher, you do have a variety. You could use Real Muto, or you can use Carlos Santana based off your preference. You do get Jim Tomei. I personally would use Jimmy Fox at third over Schmidt. You get Ryan Sandberg or Joe Morgan. You could even platoon him if need be. You get Didi Gregorius or Asdrubal Cabrera. I like the Cabrera card because he's a switch hitter, has better stats overall. Didi could crush righties. He could be somebody that comes off the bench. Where they kind of hurt at to me was in the outfield. They do get Grady Sizemore, but outside of that, the McCutcheon card is good on offense. Kenny Lofton, he could get you bunts, and he has speed, and he always kind of has a glitchy bat too, but I just thought the outfield wasn't deep enough to justify not having the greatest bullpen, not having the greatest third baseman. That's why the Phillies to me were an honorable mention. In my fifth spot, as far as the theme teams go, this was kind of tough, but I went with the Boston Red Sox. They have a good top three as far as the starting pitchers with Fergie Jenkins, Frank Tanana, Pedro Martinez. Tom Seaver and Rick Porcello to me are still very usable cards. Both have sinkers. Porcello, I believe, has a cutter. So you could get away with playing maybe, not as good players with those two cards. The bullpen is better than the other two teams that we named with Kimbrel. You got Eckersley. You got Shaq, aka Lee Smith, Gagne, Wagner, Barnes. You can see the rest. I would probably use this Jimmy Fox at catcher over this LaCroix. I mean, you're not going to start him over Poppy, so might as well use him somewhere, see the first or third. But you already have this Devers, right? So I would use the Fox at catcher. You have Big Poppy at first. This Arroyo card honestly isn't bad. He has gold defense as well as a decent bat. And this is the biggest downfall of their lineup. And I think I'm okay with that. I could live with that. You get the Rafael Devers with Pablo Sandoval coming off the bench, which you could platoon these two because Sandoval's better against lefties, Devers better against righties. This new Xander Bogaerts might be the best offensive shortstop in the game. It's debatable with him and Trey Turner possibly, maybe Wander Franco, but Bogaerts does have a good swing. They give him good defense, and he has decent speed. That's a really, really good Xander Bogaerts card. And then in the outfield, you get this home run derby Cespedes. You get 97 Grady Sizemore. And then in right field, you have your preference of Dwight Evans, Dante Bichette, and the other one can head to the bench. Dwight Evans does play better defense. He does have diamond defense out in right field. Bichette has the better bat, so it's all based off preference. And then coming off the bench, you still have Jason Bay. You still got Floyd. You'll have one of these two. At some point, you will get a 99 Mookie Betts who could fly into second base. But we're not basing that off of future rankings. This is just currently. In fourth place, I feel like this was a little bit of surprise to me. When I was going through teams, I had to think to myself, what's most important? And what I valued, like I said, was starting rotation first, bullpen second, offense third. And when I seen this Rangers team, I liked the starting rotation. Honestly, it was one of the better ones that I seen. You have the 97 Fergie Jenkins. You have the 97 Cliff Lee. You have the 97 Lance Lynn. Lynn and Cliff Lee are both two cards that a lot of people think are underrated and a lot of people have found success with. Roy Oswalt, who may not have the best hits per nine, does have the pitch mix, so you could get away with him being your fourth, fifth starter. And then Frank Tanana, a lot of people struggle against him. Now, if you're playing a goon, you might, they'll probably kill Frank Tanana. But isn't that the case for most pitchers? So, and then in the pen, you get the new 99 Goose Gossage. You get the new 96 Rob Nin. You get Gagne, O'Day, who no longer tips his pitches. You got Hinkie, Joe Nathan, Leclerc, and then the 83 Jake Diekman. This is one of the better starting pitchers as well as bullpen combos. And then you go over to here, and when I was looking at this lineup, I was like, okay, what would I do with this lineup, right? And me personally, what I would go with is Huff or Pudge, depending on what you want. Huff has a slower swing, but some people don't mind it, and he does have the pop from both sides, plus good defense. You have the new 99 Prince Fielder. I would use the Alfonso Soriano at second base, and then I would use the 95 Joey Gallo at third. Put a lot of thought into this. I really wanted to come up with the best five that I felt was the best five and how I would use them. So I would use this Joey Gallo at third. You still have to use Asdrubal at shortstop, but that Drupal card is not bad. A switch hitter, good swing, good offensive stats. So you're not dying there. And then in the outfield, I would go with the combination of the new Adolis Garcia, who is Ronald Acuna light, Kenny Lofton, and Nelly Cruz, as well as you got Baines and Vlad Guerrero off the bench, plus Wisdom, plus Todd Frazier. I thought this was one of the better overall teams from top to bottom between the starting pitching, the bullpen, the starters on offense is good enough to get you runs, and then on top of that, you have a good bench to combat that. It was very surprising to me. I didn't know the Rangers were this deep, but they are in my top five. At number three, and this is going to surprise you a little bit because I did say I value starting pitching first, bullpen second, offense third. But this team's offense was just too good to pass up when I was putting it together. I was just like, I was a little amazed at what you could do with this team, like the different possibilities. It's kind of nice with this team. So you get Fergie Jenkins, Pryor, and Maddox, which isn't necessarily the best. Jenkins is usable, Maddox is usable. Some people said Pryor was glitchy. To me, I felt like he was just basic. You do get an 89 John Lester, 89 Rich Hill. It's probably the worst rotation that you're going to find in my top five, obviously. I thought the Rangers probably could have been right here over this Cubs team, but when you put together this kind of bullpen that we're about to describe on top of the offense, and don't you can't look at it from this standpoint, but the different combinations of things that you could put together. So just wait for it. So in the bullpen, you get the 99 Goose Gossage, probably the best right-handed reliever in the game, possibly. You get the 97 Craig Kimbrell, you get the 97 Eckersley, you get the 95 Shaq, 93 Dan Plesac, the Ryan Tepera, who's honestly still very good, Bruce Sutter, you get Wade Davis, who's glitchy, typically, Joe Nathan, you get Kerry Wood, who at some point will get probably a 20 strikeout card, but like I said, we're not basing this off the future. You still get 84 Aroldis Chapman, who, even though he's not a diamond anymore, is still one of the best left-handed relievers in the game. Brad Brock, Steve Cishek, and then Rizzo. The different possibilities are this. You get Rizzo at first, Sandberg at second, right? Ernie Banks at shortstop. And that's where the possibilities of those are set. What you could do, the possibilities of things that you could do with this Cubs lineup is at catcher, you could either use Jimmy Fox or Kyle Schwarber. Whichever one you want to get in the lineup, both of them have a really, really good bat. Either way, both of them will make the lineup. You could go Schwarber at catcher, Jimmy Fox at third. Or you could go Jimmy Fox at catcher and keep Schwarber in left, move Soriano to third. And even though he doesn't have third secondary, if you look at it, he still has bronze fielding. And at third base, we all know fielding don't matter as much. The reason I don't recommend that way is I would keep Soriano in the outfield for the simple fact of he gets to every ball. Defensively, he is special. There's no need to waste that speed at third base. Some other possibilities are you could use Schwarber at catcher. You could use Castellanos at third and go with the outfield of Soriano, Lofton, Williams, or Floyd, or Soler, or Lou Brock. The reason this team was so high on my list was for the simple fact of all the different possibilities of what you could do with this lineup while having one of the better bullpens in the game, while having a pretty decent starting pitching. Like you can win with that starting pitching. It'll just be a little tougher, but the offense is just that good that you could keep up with most people. That's why I have the Cubs in the third spot, but I feel like that one may be the most debatable one. We have the New York Mets in second place, mainly because of how good this starting rotation is. It's probably the best starting rotation in the game currently that you can make on a theme team outside of maybe our team that we have in first place. But this team is literally based off of this pitching. So you have the new 99 Jacob deGrom. We don't have to even get into that card. He's filthy. You have the 97 Al Leiter, who I personally think is the best lefty in the game. You have 96 Dark Knight. I wouldn't start him, but you could use him. You get the 96 Glavine, who's still one of the better cards in the game. Frank Tanana, Pedro Martinez. You get Zach Wheeler. And if you're feeling really bold, you have Nolan Ryan. They have a plethora of options in their starting rotation. In the bullpen, you get Wagner, Franco, you get Trevor May, 90 Jarius Familia, who's still really, really good. You get Darren O'Day, you have Heath Bell, and then a bunch of golds. But still, a really good bullpen that you could use compared to most teams in the game. Now, this team's weakness is on offense, but it's still not as bad as you would believe. So at catcher, I would go with Joe Torre. At first base, I would go with Pete Alonso. I would try to see if you could use Murray at third, see what his fielding is. I don't know. I don't think he gets third secondary, but once again, I've watched people use Frank Thomas at third for years and nothing happened. Third base defense does not matter. But if you can't, I would maybe start Murray over Alonso just because I really love the switch hitting ability. You have Gary Sheffield or Art Turner at third. At second base, I would use Asdrubal Cabrera. You get the switch hitting Ronnie Mauricio, who's still really, really good, has one of my favorite swings in the game. And then in the outfield, you get 97 Cespedes, home run derby Cespedes. You get Willie Mays in center field, and you get Sean Green in right field, who is one of the glitchier players in the game. And off the bench, you get Henderson, you get Jason Bay, you get Hamilton for speed. You still have either Sheffield or Turner off the bench. You have Gary Carter or Piazza. Like this team to me, all around, we're talking starting rotation, we're talking bullpen, we're talking a good enough offense to win. I thought with this being the best rotation, good enough bullpen, and a good starting lineup, that this was probably my second best team. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with that based off what I've showed you so far on these spreadsheets. And number one, I'm sure you've guessed it, it's the New York Yankees. And it really isn't even close. This team, top to bottom, is just absolutely filthy. We're talking 98 no-hitter James Paxton, who a lot of people don't like, but I like him. You have 97 Al Leiter. You get 97 Lance Lynn. You have Ron Guidry if you want him. Frank Tanana if you want him. AJ Burnett, I think, is still a good option. And Corey Kluber is actually a really good option. This is where they separate themselves. This is honestly not fair at all for a theme team. You have 99 Mo Rivera, 99 Goose Gossage, 95 Shaquille O'Neal, Lee Smith, 93 Zach Britton. Like, just this alone is amazing. But then you still get 92 Chad Green, 90 Darren O'Day, 90 Robertson, 84 Aroldis Chapman, who, as I've said, is still very much usable in this game. At catcher, Jorge Posada is still one of my favorite catchers in this game. Don't look at this rating and think he shouldn't start. Don't look at his defense. Jorge Posada has one of the best swings in the game. At first base, you have Lou Gehrig. At second base, you have Brian Roberts. At third base, I would probably use the Alfonso Soriano, personally. Like I said, he doesn't have third base secondary, but I know for a fact he gets bronze fielding there at a position. So you use Alfonso Soriano there. At shortstop is their literally only weak spot, and is Didi Gregorius. Like, his swing is that glitchy to the point where it's okay. And then in the outfield, who do you start out of this? I want you to look at this just for 2 seconds and look at the options you have in the outfield. You could use Soriano in the outfield. You have David Justice in the outfield. You have the new Dominguez card. You have switch hitting Mickey Mantle. You have 98 Aaron Judge, who has some of the best offensive stats in the game while also having some of the best defense. If you were to go with this, just the top 3 in your outfield, you have diamond defense all around. So it's filthy. You have the BR reward, Stanton. You have the BR reward, Jackson. The fact that Justice, Mantle, Jackson, Stanton may not even make your lineup and is on the bench just shows you how deep this New York Yankees team is. I'm sure you guessed it from the beginning. Like, it's the Yankees. Now, I know in the comment section there's going to be Dodgers fans. The only reason the Dodgers didn't make mine personally was they only had 2 or 3 bullpen arms that were above gold. So everything else were silvers. Starting rotation was decent. The offense was really good, obviously. But I didn't think it was overall good enough to top one of these teams or even be an honorable mention team, to be honest with you. Now, as we go later on into the year, I do believe this changes. But as of right now, those were my top 5 teams. Now, I know you're not used to seeing this kind of content on MLB The Show, but I wanted to do something different. I know at this point, we're a few months in, a lot of the videos that get put out are kind of recycled or seen it before. And I just wanted to kind of bring something fresh to the table, just a different idea. If you're looking for something, some way to have fun, look up your favorite team. Like I said, I'll have that spreadsheet in the description. See if it's usable, or maybe look up a team that you enjoy playing with or enjoy watching and try that team and just see how much more fun you have when it's not your God squad, where you're just like, why am I not getting hits? Why am I not doing this? You're just relaxing. You're chilling, playing with some of your favorite players. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it, please hit that like button. Comment down below your favorite team and what your theme team is looking like currently. And do you expect it to get better throughout the year? And would you rate your theme team in the top 5? And of course, as always, hit that sub button. Turn on that notification bell if you're enjoying our content here. And peace Love. Till next time.